I think by now almost everyone has seen this montage played by the boss, where as usual, he's proxying a mini-wave behind the tower. And just as you think he's done, he doubles down and goes for an even deeper proxy, drawing the attention of the entire enemy team. With some montage level moves, he gets out in style, wasting so much time from his enemy that his team is able to take all of the void grubs, 4 turret plates, and the first tower top, in exchange for the enemy team getting literally nothing. This is Los Ratones at their best, with the boss wasting the enemy's time and sometimes even dying on purpose in order to buy his team time to trade something else on the other side of the map, which is already pretty cool as a strategy, but the real magic of Los Ratones' macro actually can't be seen until the sequence after this one. Important to note is that as a secondary result of the boss wasting the enemy's time, the enemy is much lower to recall compared to Los Ratones, who have already taken the top tower and started to base. Rakan, for example, is slower by a full 10 seconds to recall compared to Reckless on Janna, with the gap in tempo between the two teams being widened even more by the boss instantly TPing to bot tower out of base to get there quicker. And this is when you'll notice that they're doing something extremely unorthodox. Los Ratones are rushing 5-men bot side at just 12 minutes into the game. Moments later, the enemy Orianna gets tower dive 4v1, and Los Ratones pick up the entire bot tower for free without their opponents actually doing anything. Fast forward just 30 seconds later from this dive, and it's happening again. Los Ratones are yet again 5-men rushing the enemy's topside, with the enemy only just coming out of base with delayed recalls. Nemesis hits a charm on the lonely Ezreal trying to defend mid, and opens up for his team to hit the mid tower. And when the enemy team tries to respond with a pick onto boss, he just runs away again. Meaning Los Ratones, for a second time, pick up a mid tower with 4 turret plates in exchange for the enemy team getting literally nothing. Now, this last tower was taken an entire 3.5 minutes after the origin of this sequence of events and where it started, all the way back when the boss did his first great escape and Los Ratones gained a slightly faster recall advantage over their opponent. And it was this slight tempo advantage that they were then able to hold on to and cascade for an entire 3.5 minutes, taking every single outer tower, 15 turret plates, and their opponent had absolutely no opportunity to make a counterplay. There is just so much to unpack with this team, with almost every Los Ratones game so far being won indirectly through this crazy high level and strangely unique macro, which mainly stems from the boss's unique playstyle, where he repeatedly wastes the enemy's time, sometimes by even dying on purpose in order to bait them to waste time on him, which gives his stacked roster of teammates the openings they need to execute their own plays. All of which I'll be breaking down and simplifying for you today so that you can easily understand what's going on next time you watch one of their matches, and finally understand what it is about their macro that makes them so good.
My name's Rogue and I played League of Legends professionally for 7 years. Now I'm a full-time content creator and coach for all ranks, Iron through to Challenger. So if you want more information of what a coaching session with me will look like, you can find more information by following the link in the video description below.
And while you're in the description, you'll also find the link to my Patreon where I post all of the recordings of my best coaching sessions in full, with almost 1,000 hours of content currently available, all sorted by role and rank, including sessions where I coach for professional level teams. You can get a glimpse of what pro level league looks like from the inside. That's why whatever you're looking for, you'll easily be able to find something that's going to help you improve, no matter your rank. This unique tempo-heavy playstyle that Los Ratones plays with is actually just a slightly adjusted version of a macro playstyle called the spear method, which is actually rather easy to explain and to understand. First, imagine each of your side lanes as a spear. Now, however far pushed up your minions are in that lane represents how close your spear is to the enemy's nexus. Right now, for example, the spears of each team are about the same, but here's where things change. At this moment, the boss on Cho'Gath kills the enemy's top wave, whilst on the other side of the map, the enemy Victor has actually recalled, leaving Los Ratones' wave still live. And as a result of this is what each team's spear looks like now. If both teams were to rush all 5 members to their own lanes and charge their spear towards each other, Los Ratones would obviously win that race at this point, and so they know they can rush 4 members towards the enemy's bot side and push their spear forward. The only play now that the enemy can make is to go bot side and defend. But the boss knows this, so look at what he does. That's right, the boss walks into 4 enemies and dies. But this is low-key genius. Boss is already 0-4, and so at this point, he doesn't really care if he dies again. But what he has actually done here is he has tricked his opponent into running to the complete opposite side of the map of where they need to be. No one can resist a free kill, even if it pulls them away from the only place they should be going. And so by the time the boss has died, his team has already taken the bot tower and begun their recalls, meaning that just like in our intro, our enemy's recalls are now delayed compared to his teammates, which then gives the boss and his teammates the advantage going into next sequence as well. And so then, after respawning, the boss does something we've already seen him do in the video intro before. As soon as he respawns, he uses TP to skip forward on the map, increasing the tempo advantage between the two teams even more. Just look at the spears of each of the side waves again. Los Ratones, yet again, have a spear that is far faster on this sequence than that of their opponent, and so they yet again charge all 5 members topside. You can tell that this is something that their opponent, despite having veteran pro players, just aren't used to playing against. Look at the enemy Vi and Victor, for example. They are completely lost about where they need to be. They are trying to trade on the other side of the map onto Los Ratones' bot side when there is simply no possibility of a cross-map play because the spears at the moment just don't allow it to happen. So in reality, they're just bot side doing absolutely nothing, while Los Ratones is taking all of their top side, all of their towers, and pushing their spear even deeper. Now when we rewatch the clip from the video intro and add in the spear theory on top that we just learned, we can easily understand why Boss loves to go for these types of proxies so much. Here, the moment that Boss proxies this bot wave, just look at the difference in both teams' spears now. As we just learnt, the only response the enemy team is now left with once their spear is cut by this proxy is to run top lane and to defend. But yet again, look at what they're actually doing. They are yet again mind controlled by the boss going for these proxies to run in the opposite direction of the only place they could reasonably go. There are just so many creative uses of this concept if you cook hard enough as well, and Los Ratones really knows how to cook. In this game with Boss on Sion, you even get a few examples of this. Here, he goes behind the tower to proxy a wave, cutting the enemy's spear short. And now that his team's spear is faster and the enemy can't respond topside, look at what he does. He dumps his TP bot lane, and he just absolutely sends it. And with this play, Los Ratones pick up a kill and break the entire bot tower in exchange for the enemy taking absolutely nothing on the other side of the map, because their spear just didn't let them. Now it's just a couple minutes later in the game, and we're about to see something really cool. Los Ratones are setting up for a team-wide map movement. They're currently all spread out across all 3 lanes. Each member then takes one wave in the lane they're currently in before shifting down to cover the lane below them. This is something called a 3-lane shift. I have an example here of a near-perfect 3-lane shift executed by a pro team I coached last year. First, take note of the 3 minion waves coming out of base, as they're the 3 waves the entire sequence will take place on. The team starts off in a 1-3-1 setup. Now just like Los Ratones, each member of Red Team kills the wave in their own lane. Then they all shift up one lane and join the lane above them. This leaves the team now in a 2-lane setup of 4 top, 1 mid, 0 bot. Remember those 3 waves from the start of the sequence? Well, here they are now. The blue team in this case has to send somebody to defend the waves in both mid and bot, allowing us to charge 4 members top lane with the wave that is still alive up top. What we've also done in the process is cut the enemy spear short on the bot side, so the enemy who's defending bot tower will never be able to push out the bot lane in time to force a response before we break multiple towers topside, meaning they're essentially on the wrong side of the map for this sequence. By putting 4 members top as well, your carries are much more safe to hit the tower, since it's much harder to be flanked when you're hugging the edge of the map compared to when you're in mid. And finally, since we have a member who can push in the next mid wave for us, our team will always have the option of shifting back down to mid to take the tower there after they get the top tower, or if they run into too many enemies who are defending the top tower themselves. This is the exact same play that Los Ratones use, and it works perfectly for them. They all shift down in this case, arriving with 4 bot and a Rift Herald, to find that there's just no enemies here to defend. So they freely get to take down 2 towers with basically no resistance. The only caveat here is what Boss is doing. Yeah, he died again. But I don't think it was actually on purpose this time. I think he just got caught. The good news though is that he has the revive from Atacon, so the death just doesn't matter. And it bought his team time to take 2 towers. I guess this shows the power of the macro movement, where someone can get caught and die, and the net result of the sequence is plus 2 towers in your worst case scenario. Or Boss is a genius, one of the two. Now this tempo and macro heavy playstyle isn't something new to the pro scene at all, and in fact it's something I learned all the way back 5 years ago on a pro team I played on in 2020. On this roster, we didn't have the mechanically most gifted players in the league, so instead of trying to fight our opponent, we would pick champions like Aphelios and Trundle that could push towers down quickly. And just like Los Ratones, we would blitz down lanes taking towers for free by using spear theory anytime we saw that we had a tempo advantage, sometimes carrying that tempo advantage forward for multiple sequence just like Boss did in his Gragas game. But this is not an easy playstyle to play at all. It takes just one person delaying one recall or making any other host of mistakes for it all to just instantly fall apart. I never again in multiple years of pro play that followed found a roster of players capable of executing this type of extremely fast-paced playstyle, despite the fact that these were literally salarized full-time pro players living in a gaming house. It's easy to understand, but god is it hard to execute, and that's what makes Los Ratones so impressive. Not only have they demonstrated an ability to play this extremely hard to execute tempo-based playstyle on a relatively young team, but they've given it their own modern day twist, consisting of proxy farming waves, intentionally dying, and mind control that literally baits their opponent into running the opposite direction of their own dying towers. Now, if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and don't forget to subscribe. And if you really want to help out even more, leave a comment on the video, it'll help boost it on YouTube's algorithm. And as a final reminder, I've got a ton of coaching VODs that you can watch over on my Patreon, including sessions I've done with pro teams. So if you want more content like this one, there's going to be a ton over there for you. But as always, guys, have a great day.